Today's lesson is on factoring. So yesterday we did GCF and difference of two squares. Today we're going to do trinomials. Tri means that it has three terms. So let's see what these look like. So as you can tell, 1 through 5, they all have three terms. Okay, so what else do they have in common? Well, they all have an x squared in the front, or just a plain x squared. Then their middle term, they have a number with an x. And then their last term, they just have a number with no x. You can also tell that all the signs here are positive. And the signs are something that we're going to really focus on today because they seem to be a trouble spot for a lot of students. To factor trinomial, you're going to start with your two parentheses. Now, if you remember a couple of days ago, we would FOIL or lobster these two parentheses together to get back that as my answer. And as we talked about yesterday, factoring is undoing that distribution, the FOIL or the lobster. So, what can I put in the front of my two parentheses that when I multiply them together, give me an x squared? Well, that's easy. That's x times x. Okay. Now, for what goes in the back of my parentheses, I want to think about the factors of 12. Well, I've got several. I've got 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. I want the pair of factors, and this is where the signs come in, that will add to give me 7. So it's whatever this sign is how I want to be able to get that number. So when that second sign turns into a minus, we're going to be subtracting to get a 7. That's going to come in a little bit. But right now I want to add to get a 7. So if I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4, which pair will add to give me a 7? And the answer is 3 times 4. So those are my numbers that go in the back. Okay? Once you get your numbers in place, then you have to figure out what your signs are. And I know these are all positive, so you know your two signs are going to be a positive, but you know that's not always going to be the case. When your second sign is a positive, your signs inside your two parentheses will be the same. They will either both be a plus plus, or they will both be a minus minus. When your signs are the same, they will be whatever the first sign is. So this one says they're going to be the same, and this one says, okay, they're both going to be a positive. So plus, plus. And these sign rules will make more sense once we get off all the positives and positives. Now, that's my answer. X plus 3 times x plus 4. Well, here's what you just did. If I were to lobster or FOIL this back out, x times x is x squared. That'd be a positive 4x. That'd be a positive 3x. And that would be a positive 12. And then if I add my middle terms, that gives me the 7x. So I have x squared plus 7x plus 12. So again, what we are doing is we're trying to find the factors so that when you would multiply them together, you would get the original problem. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Got my two parentheses. First term's an x squared, so I'm going x and x. I need the factors of 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 doesn't go, 4 times 5, 6 doesn't go. Well, I want the pair of factors that will add to give me a 9. Well, that's 4 and 5. And you could put 5 and 4 if you want to. They don't have to be in this order. And then the second sign is a plus, so that says my signs will be the same, and they will be whatever the first sign is. So they'll both be a positive. And if you were to lobster that back out, you'd get the original problem. Okay, number 3. X and x from an x squared. Now I want the factors of 32 that will add to give me a 12. Okay, so 32. 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 3 doesn't go, 4 times 8, 5 doesn't go, 6 doesn't go, 7 doesn't go. All right, so which pair will add to give me a 12? 4 and 8. And if you can do this list in your head, that's fine. I'm just writing it out to show. When the second sign's a plus, that means my signs will be the same, and they will be whatever the first sign is. Okay, number 4. Got x and x. I need the factors of 12 that add to give me an 8. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Which pair will add to give me 8? That's 2 and 6. Signs are the same, and they're both a positive. Okay, number 5. X and x. Factors of 7. Well, the only pair we got is 1 and a 7. I need the pair that'll add to give me an 8, and 1 and 7 do. Signs same, both positive. Okay, so now that you've kind of gotten the hang of the numbers, now we're going to work on what happens when we start changing some of these signs. Okay, so tell me what all of these have in common. Well, they still all have an x squared at the beginning. They all have a minus as their second sign, and they all have a positive. No, they all have a minus as their first sign, I'm sorry, and they have a positive as their second sign. Okay, so let's see how that changes it. I'm going to go 2 parentheses, x and x for my x squared. I want the factors of 6 that add to give me 5. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Now you have to be careful because 1 and 6 will subtract to give me a 5, but I want the ones that add to give me 5, so I'm going 2 and 3. Again, when the second sign's a plus, it says my signs inside my parentheses will be the same. They will be whatever the first sign is, so they will both be minuses. Here's why. If I have x squared, then that gives me a minus 3x and a minus 2x and a positive 6. So it gives me a positive 6 in the back, and that's what gives me the negative 5 in the middle. Okay, number 7. X and x. I need the factors of 30 that will add to give me 11. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 doesn't go, 5 times 6. I want the ones that will add to give me an 11. 5 and 6. Signs are the same, and they will both be a minus. So I'm going to start asking, are they the same or are they different? I am not asking if these two signs are the same or if they're different. I'm asking about this second sign. If he is a positive, then my signs down here will be the same. They will be whatever the first sign is. Okay, number 8. X and x. I want the factors of 21 that add to give me a 10. So 21. 1 times 21, 2 doesn't go, 3 times 7, and that's it. And I want the pair that adds to give me a 10. That's going to be 3 and 7. Are my signs the same or different? Well, the second sign's a positive, so they are the same. They will be whatever the first sign is. So see how they are the same? They are both negative because that's what the first sign is. X and x. Factors of 18 that add to give me a 9. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. I want the pair that adds to give me a 9. That's a 3 and a 6. Signs are the same, and they'll both be a negative. Okay, last one. X and x. I want the factors of 36 that add to give me a 13. 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. And I want to add to get a 13. That's 4 and 9. Signs are the same, and they'll both be a minus. Okay, so now we're going to change that second sign. Okay, so let's look at this group. For this group, I still have 3 terms. I still have an x squared in the front. But if you look at that second sign is now a minus. So let's talk about how that's going to change things. When I put my 2 parentheses down here, I'm still going to go x and x. I now want the factors of 18 that subtract to give me a 3. Subtract because of this second sign. So factors of 18. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. I want the pair that will subtract to give me a 3. Well, that's 3 and 6. I notice I haven't put any signs in here yet. When your second sign is a minus, your signs inside your parentheses will be different. So when I ask if they're the same or different, you look at this second sign, and if he's a minus, these two signs will be different. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Well, it matters where they go. If the signs are going to be different, then you look at the first sign. The bigger number down here gets the first sign. So who's bigger, the 3 or the 6? The 6 is bigger. So he gets the first sign, and he gets the minus. First sign's a plus, so he got the plus. So if they're going to be different, this guy's got to have a minus. Okay, here's why. Let's lobster so you can see. So that's x squared. That's a positive 6x. That's a negative 3x. And that's a negative 18. So they have to be different so that I get that negative 18 in the back. But I want to end up with a positive 3x, and that's why that sign has to go to the bigger number, because you know when our signs are different and we subtract, we always take the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so let's look at number 12. So we're going to go x and x. I want the factors of 24 that subtract to give me 2. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. Subtract to give me 2, that'd be 4 and 6. Signs same or different? They are going to be different because the second sign is a minus. My signs will be different. So one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. So I got to figure out who goes where. Well, look to your first sign. Whatever your bigger number is, he gets that first sign. So who's bigger, 4 or 6? 6 is bigger. So he gets this minus because it's the first sign. So then he gets the plus. Okay, number 13. Going to go x and x. I want the factors of 56 that subtract to give me 1. Well, guys, if two numbers are going to subtract to give you 1, don't they kind of need to be side-by-side numbers? If the difference of them is going to be a 1? So what times what gives me 56? That are side-by-side numbers, so that when I subtract them, I get a 1. And that's 7 times 8. Signs are going to be different. Bigger number gets the first sign. Okay, 14, same thing. I want the factors of 30 that are going to subtract to give me a 1. So that means those numbers need to be side by side. So what side by side numbers will multiply to give you 30? 5 and 6. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the positive. Signs are different. Bigger number always gets whatever the first sign is. I want the factors of 21 that are going to subtract to give me a 4. That's 7 and 3. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the first sign. So 7, wherever you put him, he gets the minus, and the 3 gets the plus. Okay, so what if you had done it like this, and you went 3 and 7? Well, your signs are still different. The bigger number still gets the minus. Bigger number's a 7, so he gets the minus, he gets the plus. These two answers say the exact same thing. If I were to lobster them, I get the same thing. Okay, number 16. Factors of 28 that subtract to give me a 3. That's going to be 4 and 7. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the positive. Okay, so here's some more. Just really going to focus on these sign rules. I want the factors of 40 that subtract to give me a 3. That'd be 5 and 8. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the negative. Factors of 20 that subtract to give me an 8. That's going to be 2 and 10. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the positive. On the factors of 24, subtract to give you 5. That's 3 and 8. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the positive. The factors of 16 that subtract to give me a 6. That's 2 and 8. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the minus. Okay, multiple choice. Which of the following is a factor of that? So it wants me to factor this. Factors of 16 that subtract to give me 6. 2 and 8. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the minus. So I have an x plus 2 and an x minus 8. So which one of those is a choice? I don't have an x minus 2. I don't have an x minus 4. I don't have that. I do have an x minus 8. And I don't have an x plus 4. So I want you to go ahead and factor them and then just pick the one of those factors that they chose as one of their answers. Okay, last one. Factors of 20 that subtract to give you an 8. That's going to be 2 and 10. Signs are different. Bigger number's positive. So I'm looking for an x minus 2 or an x plus 10. There we go. Okay, so if we look at the on your own. So let's go back and let's revisit when the second sign was a plus sign. So you got x and x. Factors of 16 that add to give you 8. That's 4 and 4. All right, now talk to me about signs. If your second sign's a plus, your signs are the same. They will be whatever the first sign is. Factors of 28 subtract to give you 3. That's 7 and 4. Signs are different. Bigger number gets the negative. Which expression is a factor of? So we factor him. 15 that subtracts to give you a 2. That's 3 and 5. Signs are different. Bigger number's negative. So on an x plus 3 or an x minus 5. So it's got to be the x plus 3. The most important thing is to make sure that you have these rules down and that you know your factors. And that just means that you know your multiplication tables. So practice, mix them all up, but really go back and make sure that you know those sign rules.